Amiibo, yeah.
Wahey!
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 Hey.
Hello, everybody. Slim Kirby here. Welcome to another edition of PuddlesTalk. We have a short little talk about Amiibos, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and do introductions.
Hello, everybody. Wolfshika here.
Hello everyone, Lily Weaver here.
Hello, this is Monkey Matter here.
And as I mentioned, I'm Slim Kirby, but let's go ahead and get right into this. Like I said, we're going to be talking about Amiibos today, or to be more specific, kind of Nintendo's direction and decisions with the Amiibos. It's actually been causing quite a bit of controversy with a lot of their consumers and customers, and they've also, in a sense, impacted us in a very big way too. So we kind of wanted to get together and make a Puddles talk, kind of addressing the whole thing and kind of giving our takes on the whole matter. So, I guess the first thing to get covered is for those who are unaware, or just a brief description in general. The Amiibos are figurines that Nintendo has been putting out there. They're little figurines of popular Nintendo characters. Most of them are characters you can play as in the Super Smash Bros. Games for 3DS and Nintendo Wii U. And not only are they figurines, but you can also swipe them across the gamepad. There's a little bit of a sensor on the bottom left corner, and it'll actually unlock some features in the games you're playing. So in Smash Bros, it'll create an AI, and for other games like Mario Kart and Hyrule Warriors, they unlock costumes or weapons of that nature. But I like to think that the Amiibos are more so used as, kind of a visual decoration of sorts, like collecting Amiibos to have a collection, having them on display, because I don't really feel like the Amiibo implementation is really what drives people to buy the games. They're just kind of cool little features that you can have. They're not essentially the main draw of them. Like, wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, I would.
Pretty much. I
I,
mean, go ahead, monkey.
I was gonna say, yeah, like I've noticed that they, like Nintendo has stated, they're there to unlock little bits of things here and there, but most people are in it to collect like their favorite characters or series, or in some people, crazy people's cases, they try to collect them all, which we'll get to why that's so crazy later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wolf.
Yeah, we do have an Amiibo collector among us right now, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But
Yep.
yeah, that's kind of the thing that I've always seen them as. Like, I mean, I was gonna buy the new Smash Brothers games no matter what. I wasn't really even thinking about the Amiibo functionality. I was kind of thinking, I'm gonna grab Kirby. I'm gonna grab a few of my other favorite characters in Smash, and that's about it. And I've gone a little more than I thought I would. I have about 13 Amiibos right now. I've kind of started my own little collection, but I'm not necessarily set on collecting them all. I know there's some I'm probably never going to collect, just due to how freaking rare some of them are. But it's something that if I go to a store like GameStop and I have some money left over and there's an amiibo I don't have, and I can consider picking it up to add to my collection. It's a nice little conversation starter when people come over and see my collection. I can just say, hey, these are my Amiibo figurines. I love Nintendo. I've been a big fan of Nintendo for a very long time. So, I collect these characters because Nintendo's been such a great company and has released a lot of great franchises for me. And, not really caring about the implementation in the actual games.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like one of those things where like you could try to collect all of like one series to show off you're a fan of that series or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like like currently trying to work on the Legend of Zelda series where we currently have all but one because that one isn't released yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. But like I said, there have been numerous issues with the amiibos and the distribution of amiibos, and there's quite a number of problems, at least a lot of the problems that I've noticed since they started releasing them at the end of last year. First of all, some of them are extremely hard to find, and it all started with, I believe it was Marth.
Yes,
Marth
it
was the
was.
very first amiibo that really went off the radar very, very quickly. I think even Marth was at the GameStop when I went for the Smash Brothers Wii U launch. I think it was even there, like at that GameStop I was at, but I didn't think of it. I didn't think he'd be a rare character or anything. I just like, nope, I'm just here for Kirby. I'm just gonna get Kirby. That's it.
Yeah,
But
the thing.
I'll go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is with Marth, I have a story behind that one. When I went to my store to first pick up the game, he was like, the pre-order bonus for like getting Smash Bros. Wii U was an amiibo, and they're like, you can pick any amiibo except for Marth.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was already sold out or reserved, and then my mom went around everywhere trying to find me one for Christmas as a gift, and found the last one at a Walmart.
Oh wow.
Dang.
That's well. I didn't even. Yeah, that's kind of weird. It's like oh, no, not this one. It's like they knew that they wanted that one to be
Yeah.
rare or something.
Well, yeah, no, it's like they were. Well, that store was only actually ever shipped two, so
Hmm.
we'll get to that later with shipping problems.
Yeah, and then after Marth became rare, Villager became rare, then Wii Fit Trainer, and some Wave ones, not very many. A lot of the Wave ones are still pretty common, but like Fox, I don't really even see Fox anymore, and I think that's the case for a lot of other people. And then Wave 2 started, Captain Falcon became really rare. I know that Monkey has something to say about that later when I get to location distribution. But yeah, they've been really, really rare, and I think that a lot of this has to do with the fact that I don't think Nintendo really expected this to take off as much. So as a result, they didn't produce a whole bunch of them. And I think that seems to be what a lot of people are saying is they didn't create a lot of amiibos, or in some cases only created a certain number and haven't created any more.
Yeah, like they made pretty much all the amiibos they planned to ship out for certain characters such as Marth, and didn't make any more. It was like, okay, this is how many we want to send. That's it.
Yeah, the problem I think I see is that they really were basing it off like the current Wii U sales, and then thought only a proportion of people would get them because
Hmm.
like only a proportion of people would play a certain character.
That's actually a good point. I think that's probably what they were going off of, because not a whole lot of people had the Wii U before like Smash Bros. And even Mario Kart came out. I'm wondering if that's maybe what they were trying to do.
I definitely don't think they expected the amiibos to outsell Wii U's itself.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Can that claim actually be made at this point? Like, I mean, they haven't exactly made a whole bunch of them.
I don't know, but I can probably safely proclaim that
Hmm.
at like by the time they end the Smash Brothers series, it'll probably way past true.
Maybe. Well, yeah. I guess I could possibly see that, but yeah. But yeah, so some are hard to find. Nintendo didn't exactly make a whole bunch of them. There's some that are only available at certain stores, like Shulk's only going to be available at GameStop, Rosalina only at Target, Meta
Oh,
Knight at Best Buy. Yeah.
that's another thing with the exclusives, and I've seen this not only with Amiibos, but Nintendo has done this lately. Like I've seen it with Pokemon cards too, but it's like, oh yeah, this will be exclusive to Target. Oh yeah, Target's closing down in Canada, so we'll just kind of randomly ship it places and hope people find it.
Oh God.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's it's annoying.
Yeah, and in a way, that almost makes them even more rare, or to the point where if you ever want to buy them, then
You have to go all over the place in hope that you find one.
well, not even that, but even like just going on, if you go online to get them, like at a store like Amazon, they're gonna be there, but because they're exclusive, they're gonna be so freaking inflated in terms of the price. Like, I think I saw a Rosalina amiibo on Amazon for $50, which was even more than what Marth is at this point, I think.
Yeah,
So,
it's crazy. Well, and then there's things like ones that were rare to begin with, like Captain Falcon. I went on there and it was like, oh yeah, by the way, it's like 60 something bucks American, so translate that to Canadian, and it's like way more.
yeah, yeah, exactly, and that kind of leads into this next one. I know that Monkey, you've had a lot of experience with this, but distribution seems to be heavily impacted by location, and there's some amiibos that just aren't really shipping to certain locations.
Oh yes, like my best example is I went around everywhere looking for Captain Falcon, like way after, even like for months after he supposedly came out, which I guess technically December, so yeah, months. But like I go to places and people, a lot of places still even say, "Oh yeah, we never got him, never came here,"
Wow.
and that's just because freaking Winnipeg is in the middle of the prairies. In a province where we're like one of the two only notable places.
Hmm. So I guess you could say that Winnipeg doesn't endorse F-Zero racing. I guess.
I guess not. I mean, it would be it'd be too cold for the G diffusion anyway, and
Hmm. Yeah. And then also, there's also these issues of not telling certain stores when the amiibos are coming in. Uh, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna give Sarah the floor here in a minute. But also, if I'm talking too fast or moving the discussion along too far, guys, let me know. I know I'm kind of spearheading this whole talk here. So if you want to say something, let me know, and we can stop and go back to.
I want to put something in about the distribution by region.
Okay, yeah.
I live in Atlanta. For those who do not know, Atlanta is pretty much in one of the 10 largest cities in the United States. And we have had issues with some of the rare amiibos showing up in our city.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, when the major cities are having issues getting it, you know there's a problem.
yeah. May I also put another thing in?
Yeah.
Like Sarah said, when the major cities are having problems, think of a smaller city. I'm having troubles finding even some of the common ones because just freaking nothing's being shipped here. It's like Samus, she'll pop up every once in a while, but then it's like nope, gone completely again.
There's a weird dichotomy with that though, because I have had friends who have like traveled to other states to smaller towns and have had luck finding the rare amiibos there just by chance. And I think maybe it's that trade-off of maybe they don't get shipped as much, but those that they do, there's not as high of a demand, so it's a little bit easier to find them.
Yeah, I should try that, going to some of the small towns around here, seeing what they got.
Yeah. I actually was kind of banking on that when I started hearing reports about amiibos being rare, because for the longest time I've always lived in a very remote part of Indiana where there's not a very huge population. I could normally go on day one without pre-ordering and get a Nintendo game or system no problem whatsoever. But I mean, even lately, I've just not had any luck, especially with the amiibos. Like, I go to no, I go to a store like every week to look for amiibos, and they have nothing, and they don't even know when certain amiibos are even going to come in. They don't know when their stock's going to get reset up or anything. And I know that Sarah works at GameStop, and she knows a bit about that because she's had to deal with a lot of these questions on several occasions.
Oh, there was a running joke at my place of work that we just want to be able to answer the phone sometimes and say, "Hello, thank you for calling GameStop. No, we don't have any rare amiibos in." Because anymore, the majority of the calls that we get are people, and we actually have started with a few of our regulars just taking down their phone numbers if we know that they're looking for amiibos, just because they are so hard to find. But yeah, we, like, for example, the recent thing that dropped, which we will get to, I'm sure, about Ike and DDD, I will have words on that one.
Yeah.
But with the Wave 3, when all of the dates got pushed back, we did not get that memo until it leaked online. I was actually not convinced that it was a legitimate memo at first, because I had not heard anything about the dates being moved until that point. And not only are we not getting information on definitive shipment, we're not getting any information on definitive shipment dates, and more than that, on many of these waves, Wave 1 a little bit more. We didn't have this issue as much with Wave 2, and certainly Wave 3, what little we've gotten of it, because we have gotten very little at GameStop of those amiibos. we have
much only
pretty much
3,
been
right?
getting no. We got Toon Link, we got Sheik, and we
right?
got Bowser. We got Bowser and Shulk. Yes, we got those ones in.
Mhm.
Have not seen Ike. Have not seen DDD. Have not seen Mega Man or Sonic.
Mhm.
Um, but we have been pretty much getting no more amiibos than what was pre-ordered,
Yeah.
which means that we have no extras to sell to customers. That, quite frankly, if Nintendo were selling us more, we could be making a great deal of money for not only ourselves but for Nintendo, and that's a similar issue we had with Majora's Mask and the new 3DS launch.
Mhm.
We had there was a similar thing. So this isn't only amiibos where Nintendo's having distribution issues.
Yeah.
It's just amiibos. It's becoming a little more prominent because it's been more long-standing, and there is so much confusion everywhere. I mean, I personally do find it ridiculous that in order to find information on who's got amiibos when, I basically have to be following 3 different
Right.
Twitter feeds, because otherwise I would have. Otherwise, like when I got my Pit, I got him through GameStop.com.
Mhm.
I never heard anything out of GameStop saying that he was available. If I hadn't been following Amiibo news, I never would have known.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're the reason why I actually got the Pit that I have because you posted that in the Skype group, and I was like, oh, okay, one of the rare ones is available. I better jump right on there and get that.
Yeah, and like I've noticed something that's happening a lot in my city is that we've actually a lot of times have like stopped taking pre-orders and upright told Nintendo, okay, start shipping us better and we will start doing pre-orders again.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously that's not working.
Yeah.
I'm
And I know some of the distribution issue, like they have said, has come from the strike that's been going on the West Coast, which is finally getting resolved. So maybe this will fix some things. But even then, I don't think that we can say that that is the one and only reason for this problem, because it started before that happened, and there are more areas affected than would really be being hit by the strike.
Yeah, I mean, like the West Coast of the U.S. wouldn't be affecting Central Canada, you know?
Well, I mean, even then, I still think a lot of like Asian shipping companies do go through the West Coast on the United States anyway, even if it's to Canada. I think it's just because it's a major shipping port, like internationally, not just.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I understand that, but still, I mean.
But I do like what Sarah pointed out though, is I don't think that's the major reason. When I first saw that Nintendo was starting to mention that it was, this is all due to the whole like the shipping strike and all of that. I do see how that could impact it in some way, but like Sarah said, this has been going on since Wave 1 back at the end of last year. This is a ongoing problem. It definitely impacts it, yes, but I don't think that's the main reason why that we've been so short-handed on Amiibos at all.
Okay, can we quickly talk about what their makeshift solution is with Amiibo cards?
By all means.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get that too. I'll just go ahead and as a kind of a solution, Nintendo has brought up the idea of using Amiibo cards, which are essentially ways to implement the Amiibo features without actually owning the figurines. So, go ahead, Monkey.
Personally, I really don't like that idea. I feel like, to me, the whole point of it was the dual purpose of having the neat little bonuses and having the statue of the character. And really, I don't think having the cards actually solves anything, unless it's the case of, I really wanted Captain Falcon for the costume in Mario Kart 8 or something.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, as a kind of sort of Amiibo collector, if they did release the cards, I might get them. Only as like, I'm going to set all of my Amiibos on top of those cards. Just to say, hey, I have the card and the Amiibo. And then, like, Marth would just be sitting by its little lonesome. And I would long for that particular amiibo, but it probably is not going to happen.
And then the other thing that I have a problem with is knowing Nintendo, well, at least Game Freak's thing with cards is they would probably end up just having like random packs, because I don't see how else they would do it. And then with random packs comes the problem of you could get a bunch of ones you don't want, and then they would end up having rare cards just because of the nature of packs.
I don't foresee them doing it as packs. I foresee them doing it as actual, like, specific ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, other than like doing it in sets, how would they market that? They'll like sell the one specific small card?
I mean, it's possible that they would.
I mean, they do that technically with the eShop cards. I mean, they have like they just have one card like on the rack or something, and like have a bunch of them behind them. So,
So one thing that I did think of that I would, where having the Amiibo cards might be a good thing is, for those who are not aware, Amiibos themselves only have enough memory to store game data for one game. If, for example, you wanted to use your Kirby Amiibo on both Smash and Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, you would have to delete your save data in order to do that. So I could see the Amiibo cards being very useful for those fans who have an Amiibo that they want to use for multiple games. But I absolutely do not think it is a 100% solution to the Amiibo problem, nor do I think that they should use it to replace the figurines, because there is still value in the figurines themselves, and it isn't... So I don't think that Nintendo can just say, hey, here's our solution, all of our problems are gone. And I hope that isn't the case.
I really hope that's not their solution. I'm kind of like everyone else. I don't think the cards is a great idea. I really, really don't, because I think it's just Nintendo's way of, once again, kind of missing the point that people want the Amiibos for the figurine aspect of them. They want to have something tangible they can hold and look at and kind of share with their friends whenever their friends come over. The cards don't really do that. At that point, you might as well just go on Photoshop, make like a background of the card, and then put the character on them and just say, hey, look, I got this Amiibo card. It doesn't have the functionality, but
I have it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like...
Yeah, like, for me, like, personally, I almost never use mine for, like, using it in Smash. If anything, the only thing I really use them for is Hyrule Warriors to get stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, the thing is, it's like everybody's saying, like, I use them to collect them. It's the concept of collecting them and having them. Like, everybody was clamoring for official Nintendo figures of these, especially stuff like Fire Emblem and like Earthbound, where they'd never normally make those.
Exactly. Yeah. And so yeah, these are basically all the problems that have been going on. And then what the biggest thing that kind of prompted this talk to even happen was the fact that the Ike and King Dedede amiibos, at least at GameStop anyway, I don't know if it's anywhere else, but
it's only GameStop that's being affected by that.
Okay, so not only are there waves, but now there's pre-orders in waves.
Ike and Dedede both got split up into two groups. And this part may very well be affected by the shipping on the West Coast, but it certainly doesn't help that... It doesn't help the Amiibo issue in general.
So, if I may explain this one.
Go for it.
Because I am personally affected by it. With the Ike, if you pre-ordered your Ike before the end of 2014, that is by December 31st, you will be receiving your Ike Amiibo as of tentatively on Tuesday. If you ordered it after that point, it will be arriving at some point to be determined later this spring. With Dedede, it's a very similar situation. I think the cutoff for him is December 27th, if you pre-ordered before that point versus pre-ordered after. Second off, if you do not have any pre-orders for that store that were not before this cutoff, you're just not going to be receiving any Ike Amiibo or Dedede Amiibos in this initial run. And third, if you pre-ordered more than one Ike, I don't remember if DDD is affected by this or not. I know for certain Ike is. If you pre-ordered more than one, you're essentially going to have to cancel all your pre-orders there, limiting him to one per customer, and any additional ones you can just put it onto a different amiibo or you will get your money back. Regardless of when you pre-ordered those second or third or whatever Ike amiibos.
Yeah.
To me, the point that becomes very frustrating is that second point. Well, the third point's a little frustrating for those who did pre-order more than one, but I can see why they're trying to use that to avoid scalpers. But not only am I frustrated with the waves, mostly because they're not giving us any sort of definitive date on that second shipment, which I think goes back to Nintendo not knowing. But I find it frustrating that if you don't have any pre-orders there before the cutoff, you're still not going to get any. And the fact that they make it sound as though even on the secondary, there's going to be next to no extra Ikes to sell to anyone who did not pre-order, which, as I mentioned before, has been at least at the location that I work at, a running issue with amiibos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Look, not everybody can get out to pre-order them, and not everybody knows about them until they see them in a store, which is a big problem, because then they'll be like, hey, I'm a fan of this series, but where's this character? Or I play this character in Smash, I want the amiibo, where is it?
I personally do, after this point, highly recommend, if there is an amiibo you want that is upcoming, pre-order, guarantee yourself that you get it. Actually, with anything with Nintendo at this point, pre-order it, because that does affect how many they give. With any distributor, that is the case, but especially with Nintendo, and just with the scarcity that we've been having with amiibos, it's really the only guaranteed way of getting one at this point.
Yay, for me being even more screwed over.
That's kind of a disheartening thing.
Yeah. And I mean, like, he's not on this talk, obviously, but I know that Bubba actually had a Mega Man pre-order, and he actually got put on back order. So not only like are this whole Ike and DDD coming in waves, but amiibos themselves, like, it's getting to the point where, you know, sometimes even pre-ordering isn't enough without a little bit of extra waiting. So it is very, very important to get those pre-orders in as soon as possible if there's one you really, really, really want. So definitely do that if there's like one you really want.
And now I will tell you a story that'll probably make me slightly even more annoyed.
Okay.
So I had a friend who has 3 kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are all super into Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
And he had pre-ordered 3 Ikes.
Oh.
He got canceled on all 3 of them, and that was after he found out that it was pushed back, and they were supposed to be for their kids' birthdays that were all around the same time.
Oh, wow.
God. What store did he pre-order from?
From EB Games, so essentially GameStop.
Yeah. They canceled all 3 of them?
Yep.
Not even giving him one?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really lame. That really is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's like, I mean, like, I understand the value of pre-order, and I understand the value of, like, following social media sites sometimes, but I think it is kind of ridiculous that in order to get these amiibos in the first place, that your best case scenario of getting one that you really want is following like 3 or 4 different amiibo Twitter accounts, or, you know, going to GameStop like every week and just checking in on pre-orders and if they have any information. I mean, I feel like if this is something that you should be able to just go into GameStop once, get the information, and then, you know, have the information. You can make the pre-order there if you want, and then just move on with your day. But it's just so freaking ridiculous that there's all these extra steps and things you have to do just for these figurines that honestly Nintendo should have been making more of to begin with, because they have taken off. They have taken off in a very big way.
Oh, yes. I see.
So,
sorry, go ahead. You probably have more.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it was like yeah these like Slim said these amiibos they have taken off. People love them. I see probably the most talented people making custom ones. I see all the stuff like Nintendo really has something here and they don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't.
Yeah. I mean, I really wish they would realize it. I mean, when you think about it, it's such a good idea because Nintendo's been a major video game company for 30 going on 40 years, and they have all of these franchises with all of these very beloved characters, and they're having these figurines, these almost action figures that you can collect and have at your disposal, and it's cool that they have some game functionality, but most of all, they're these classic, iconic characters, and they will make money. They really, really will, and it's shown. It's shown so far, and it will continue to show. And that's why I hope that during this whole shipping strike and shipping congestion that's going on, I think they need to kind of start realizing that, hey, okay, we have a little bit of time to work with here now that we can't use shipping to 100% efficiency. We can actually start producing more and then gain some more money like while this is going on.
Yeah, certainly, yeah.
They just really need to do that. And I forgot who it was that brought it up, but someone actually brought up a good point about like wondering who exactly, and if any of you guys know, definitely bring it up, but who exactly is making the amiibos? If it's Nintendo and themselves using like the factories they have, I'm almost wondering if like maybe outsourcing this to a company like Bandai.
I'm
or
fairly
something.
certain they're outsourcing because that brings up actually a very different but another issue that I've heard with the amiibos, which is some of the initial source pictures that we saw of the amiibos are not matching the amiibos they're distributed, and we're seeing many reports of, all those funny reports of like, oh, headless Peach or like, three-headed Marth, whatever, because the quality of the amiibos, when you look at them, is actually kind of poor. It's not terrible, but it's not the high quality that I think the initial pictures of some of these amiibos led us to believe.
Like, I was looking at the picture of the Marth amiibo, and I'm looking at my current one, and he just looks straight up derp.
Oh, Marth.
And
Okay.
Let's not forget the big old Diddy eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he does have big eyes.
Well, I guess on a brighter note, there was one topic I did want to see after the announcement of the Super Mario series amiibos. What other like game series do you want to see?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, with Mario, there's like so many characters. Well, with all other series, like we pretty much have like the main characters in Smash already. Like the only ones I can think of, like maybe some starter Pokemon from the Pokemon generations, or from the Kirby series, Bandana Waddle Dee or something like that. But,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Like I definitely thought with something like Pokken Tournament, we definitely know that there is that in Japan they have this like Bandai passport where you can save the character onto a card, sort of like amiibos. I'm thinking that like we could see one of each of the characters in that game, but
like, but I mean, getting back to what I was mentioning earlier about the whole like outsourcing and everything. Okay, I kind of figured that there would be another company working on these, but someone did bring that up. But like, it makes me wonder, like, and if they're not of super great quality, I can't imagine that they really cost that much, like, to make. Like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I know nothing about making amiibos or any of that, but like, I really don't see if they'd actually be having problems with making more, if there is like, some kind of issue. Like,
I'm pretty sure most of it comes down to it just being like a mold that they have to paint, and then the most expensive thing would probably be the technology in the stand.
Oh, yeah, I guess there would be that, but I don't know. Just a bunch of things I've been thinking of, but those are some things I've thought about. Like, obviously, one of the ways to fix this problem is obviously in greatest case scenario, Nintendo just makes more of them. But are there do you guys have any ways that you think that they could actually improve this issue or make it better for the future?
Really, I think you mentioned it. Just make more. 4,000 Mars, that was not enough. Obviously. Yeah, they have said we are going to be making more for the Steam game.
Yeah.
But for Villager, Wii Fit Trainer, Captain Falcon, make more of them.
Wait, that's a quick thing I want to ask about, Wolf. What you just mentioned, they're making more of them for the Steam game. Are they doing that for all the Fire Emblem ones or just Marth?
I think they said they would be making more of all of them. I just
Marth was
focused
the one
mainly
they
on
specifically
Marth.
mentioned.
Yeah.
But that does definitely give hope of second distributions for essentially any amiibo. I know, and I can confirm that GameStop will be getting a second wave of Shulk because we were taking web and store orders for a shipment coming out in May.
Yeah, and then there
Nice.
was also the fact that with Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, there's a Shulk amiibo specific function. So they didn't want everybody to just be out in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, I just think that's really the whole thing. And yeah, from the very beginning they said, for the beloved Nintendo characters and for the really popular ones, we'll make more of them. We've only heard them making more for the Mario Party and for the Steam. Haven't heard anything else about more amiibos being made. And on top of that, like I said, 4,000 just was not enough.
Yeah. And another question is, how do they define a beloved character? I'm pretty sure that any character that's currently in Smash, except for Darkfit. Well, I mean, a lot of people like Dark Pit, but I know some people in this group don't.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I didn't even mention your name.
I felt your gazing eyes on me.
Probably their most notable characters: Mario,
Yeah.
Link, Luigi.
Yeah, but
probably them.
like I was saying, but pretty much any character that's in Smash has become a beloved character. I know how much of a following Rob has got ever since he got in Smash.
And I'm almost wondering if by beloved they mean all the main ones like Mario, Link, Kirby, etc.
Yeah.
But at that point, they're the most common. We're not having problems finding them.
That's very true.
And then they say they're gonna make more, but 100 is still more. So it's what is their definition
you're not
of more?
You're not having a hard time finding those because they're the only ones that we are getting any supplemental shipments of. And
okay.
Nintendo, rather worryingly, has said that they are going to be that there are going to be limited runs on some of these amiibos. Now, specifically the ones that I think they were referring to, because I'm looking at some notes from an investors meeting that took place last week regarding the amiibos. My suspicion is is in that specific case they were referring to the gold and silver Mario
Right.
amiibos that will be dropping via Walmart. But I have heard reports prior to this that said that those amiibos that did not sell as well will not be getting extended runs, which that does bring up an interesting point of how you're going to determine that when some amiibos are getting more higher distribution than others.
Yeah, that's the problem. For example, if there was only 4,000 Marths and there's Mario is everywhere, of course Mario sold better than Marth. So they're oh yeah, Marth didn't sell, but reality he sold
you
out.
could also be looking at it. In theory, you could be looking at it by ratio as well. If you have 4,000 Marths and all 4,000 of them sold,
They should be looking.
Yeah.
They should be looking. At it
I'm sure that's what they will do.
it's it'd be a very tricky thing. But going back to the idea of how we can fix it, another thing I would say is looking at how we're spreading out distribution of the amiibos in terms of where the shipments are going. And obviously, all four of us in this talk live in North America, so I'd be very curious if anyone in the comments who lives, say, in Europe or in Australia,
Right.
what your experiences amiibo hunting have been, because I know, because breaking it down, actually, this is again coming from that investors report, 63% of amiibo sales have come out of the United States and Canada in comparison to 11% in Japan.
Yeah, that is
Oh
interesting.
yeah.
But
I
Japan
think I
is
did
also,
hear
I mean, Japan is also more in favor of like the card thing, just because they are like a culture where it is a lot more like space oriented. They live in smaller confinements
Right.
and don't really have the room for all the stuff.
Have you not seen anime figurine collectors?
Well,
There's a huge market for that in Japan, so I will kind of counter that
then
point.
I don't. Well, then again, everybody I've known in Japan, which is like 10 people, so I mean,
That's practically all of Japan. No, not really.
Oh no,
No,
it's
no,
not.
it's not. I know it's not. I know it's
That's
not.
but freak. Yeah, and I've also heard like I've talked to people like a friend in Belgium, and like they have like different rare ones there than there are here. Like whatchamacallit,
Yeah,
like
who's rare over
Oh, yeah.
there?
like I know that there, like I can't quite tell who is rarer, but I know like they're having a hard time finding stuff like Diddy Kong, but stuff like Pit is common.
Oh wow.
Huh.
Well, let's move to Belgium. No, not really.
Let's all just move to Belgium.
Yeah, we can do that. I think we can do that. But as for me, like I said this before, I'm not super big on collecting the amiibos. If I don't get all of them, I'm not gonna cry about it. But as yeah, Wolf is apparently. But as for me, like I almost kind of see this as good poetic justice for Nintendo. Like I love Nintendo. They are and will always be one of my all-time favorite companies because they've been with me my entire life. But that doesn't mean that I think that they're not doing wrong here, because I think they've made so many mistakes as of late, but even more so with the Amiibos. And I kind of hope they get some backlash here, a huge amount of backlash.
I'm really feeling it!
So they can realize the amount of problems that people have been having with this, and hopefully they see it and start correcting some of these Amiibo shortage problems, because, you know, I think the Amiibos are a really, really cool feature. I really do, and I love having a collection of Amiibos. I enjoy, while I'm working at my desk, looking over and seeing my happy line of 13 Amiibo soldiers standing over there. It's, you know, it's a pleasant thing to look at and be reminded of my long history and dedication to Nintendo, and I really, really want them to kind of take a look at this situation and start kind of realizing, okay, this is not working. We could be making so much more money if we start focusing more on this kind of production, and it could solve a lot of these issues that people have been having with the Amiibos.
Yeah, so pretty much to sum it up, Amiibos, they're great in concept, but the execution was just horrible.
Yeah, and I mean I agree, and I can see why, because Nintendo has been mostly a gaming company, and this was something that, even though they have gaming implementation, they're not necessarily video games. So I can see their kind of hesitance at first with getting so involved in this, especially after numerous accessories that they've made in the past haven't really taken off extremely well. But once they start seeing like that, okay, this is actually garnering a lot of attention, I feel like that's when they should have realized that, oh, okay, this is actually not becoming a bomb like the Virtual Boy or the e-reader. This is becoming something that, you know, we could actually really focus on more, and I'm hoping that they'll realize that moving forward.
Again, but that was another thing with them. The way they presented Amiibos originally was a great concept, because the thing is, like, usually Nintendo's theory nowadays is slap Mario on it, slap Pikachu on it, it just friggin' flies off the shelves. When they first showed off Amiibos, it was first Mario, and that was what got most people's attention. So they started off on the right foot with the Amiibos. The concept was there, like the idea was there. They had everything in line, and then they just dropped the ball when it came to shipment, which really shot themselves in the foot from a great idea.
Yeah. So as the Amiibo collector of the group, Wolf, do you have any final thoughts you feel like sharing? Any tips for those other aspiring Amiibo collectors out there?
I would say pre-order. Pre-order. Follow those multiple Twitter accounts. Like, I was really hoping to get a Rosalina Amiibo. But I kept going online. Nothing. No pre-orders were up.
Mm-hmm.
Then I didn't check for like a week. And I think they got released on December 13th. I want to say December 13th is when pre-orders went up.
Yes.
And I was like, I heard something. Oh, what? Rosalina's up? Awesome. Let me go pre-order. What? Nothing. Sold out in a day. Period. Rosalina at Target sold out in a day.
Yeah. So yeah, pre-order. Keep an eye on those sites. That's really
and pretty much if you don't pre-order, expect to spend a lot of money for that, or try to find some friends in other places that can find them for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other final thoughts before we wrap this up?
I've got two quick ones.
Okay, go for it.
So one, be nice to your local retailer, because we are as frustrated with the whole situation as you are, and at least for us lowly peons, there's not anything we can do about it.
Yeah.
We can't magically make more Amiibos appear. We wish we could. Second, as much as I want to have faith in Nintendo, I do still have my reservations, because we can't act as if they're not aware. They know the prices that some of these Amiibos are going for online. They're shocked by it, and yet they still turn around and say things like, Amiibos that have quickly become scarce and those that are required to play in games will be considered for more production if there is demand from customers as retailers, as though they don't understand that there already is that demand.
Yeah. Like, if there is demand, that pisses me the heck off, because there is demand, and that's why they're gone.
Yeah.
There's demand for every single Amiibo, even Mario, which is being continually shipped out. There's still demand for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Nintendo, why you no give us Wave 4 release date?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's happening in spring.
Which is any time between now and, like, June.
Pretty much.
Is spring.
Do you guys remember? Oh, yeah, this is releasing summer 2014.
Oh, God.
By summer, we mean October.
Oh, God. But yeah, she does bring up a really, really good point that, you know, I honestly think Nintendo is very aware of what's going on. I mean, you kind of have to, with all the frickin' Twitter messages that keep getting posted to the official Twitter. I'm sure there's a lot of articles that have come in their eyesight at some point. And, you know, they have their work cut out for them in actually making their consumers happy again, because there are a lot of people who are very skeptical, and rightfully so, because they haven't really been giving us a lot of information. They haven't really been doing a whole lot right, so yeah, they definitely have their work cut out for them, and kind of getting that faithful customer back.
I don't know. Like, I have been like a devout Nintendo customer my whole life, and I have been skeptical to buy anything. The only thing Nintendo I've actually bought recently are Amiibos when I've found them.
Right.
And that's because I'm just too scared to buy anything else right now.
Yeah. I the other day when I went Amiibo hunting, I actually went out to GameStop, and I had kind of three things I was looking for, like obviously any Amiibo I could find. Then I also wanted to get Majora's Mask 3D, and possibly even the new 3DS system. I went to GameStop, and I literally walked right up to the desk. I asked the clerk, okay, do you guys have any Majora's Mask 3D, any new Amiibos, or the new 3DS. I got a no to all three of them. I was like, okay, do you guys have any information on when those things are coming out? Nope. And I literally just walked right out. I wasn't mad at the GameStop employee. They gave me all the info they had, honestly, and, that was that. Like...
It irritates me so much from a retail standpoint. That's so
bet.
much money lost.
I have one more point that I heard. I went to a couple EB games recently,
Yeah.
and all of them had the information about hearing a rumor that Wave 4 of Smash Bros. Amiibos were online only. Have you guys heard anything of this?
No, I have not.
Nothing, no.
No, I have not heard that either through my workplace or any of the Amiibo Twitters that I follow.
Yeah, because I went to like 3 different EB games, and they all told me that, saying that it was like through Nintendo only. I'm like, where are you getting this information from? And it's like, I just heard it through the grapevine.
I don't know. I'm wondering if that would be a good idea or not. I don't think it would, like, on the whole, but, I mean, I think it would be good if they did allow the purchase of them from their site to maybe save the retailers a lot of grief.
It's a double-edged sword, because then I feel like it's going to be, like, sold out everywhere, and then it's going to be even harder to find them.
Possibly. I don't
Maybe.
know. We might hear more about that if this is just a developing rumor. We might have some light shed on it.
If that rumor turns out to be true, expect a second Puddles Amiibo talk.
Well, I mean, if they did put the Amiibos up for sale on their site, I could see them handling that well. Like, let's say if Wii Fit Trainer was put up on there, you could request it, and even though they might not have any, if they get enough requests for it, they'll be like, okay, well, hey, everyone who wanted this and put it on Twitter, everything else, and the people that wanted it, an email, we are making more. We will be putting pre-orders up.
Oh, yeah.
Put your pre-orders in,
It's
and we
like-
will make that many.
Like, if they get enough people to reserve it, then they'll run another, like line event or something.
Yeah, so I could see them doing that well, and that would definitely solve the Amiibo problem. But it depends how they do an online store like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Please no.
It's a wait and see to see how they handle it. If this rumor is true, I know there's going to be a lot of people upset, especially me, because I deal mostly in cash right now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that too.
What were you saying, please, oh no, Sarah?
Nintendo,
So-
please don't screw us over by doing that. Please don't.
yeah,
Oh, right, yeah. I mean,
Well-
there's that too.
Yeah.
like I said, there's the double-edged sword of. I mean, it would be like it's sort of like going over the retailers' heads, but also not putting them through the pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, sales and everything. I don't know. We'll obviously probably hear more about that if that is a thing,
Yeah.
if it won't be a thing or not. This is just
Yeah.
speculation at this point, but I think that's pretty much everything. I got through my little outline here, so
Thanks for everybody being awesome and listening.
yeah. Any other final thoughts before we close this off, or are we all good, or...
Remember to splash that like button.
Yeah, you have to say that in every PuddlesTalk. That's right. Yeah, splash that like button. I sound.
Good luck hunting.
Yeah, good luck Amiibo hunting,
Yep.
everybody. And we'll see you later.
Amiibo, yeah.
I'm really feeling it.